Okay, well, let's call this meeting to order then. Okay, you have the roll call, or you?
Yeah, I've got everybody.
You got everybody checked off? Okay. All right. Public comment, 2 minutes.
Sure. I'll just start out there again.
If you want to take a little bit more than 2 minutes, I'll allow that.
Oh, okay. I won't take very much. My name is Wes White, community enthusiast. I also do a YouTube channel, John Doe 13K. And I follow any and all public meetings, and I try to ask the bodies to, just make it available by Zoom. That way you get more participation, or at least, archive of things that have happened. And then that way the constituents that are within your district can see what's going on, and maybe you want to participate, or clap and say what a great job you're doing, and go, hey, I know I can help solve your problem. So that's all I'm trying to do, is see transparency and hopefully improvement in everything.
Do you edit videos when you put them on, or you just put exactly what was there with no edits, no?
Yeah, for the meeting, like yes, yeah, that's all I do, is the entire meeting. That way, you can't take anything out of context that way, Yeah. And so yeah, that's
So
what I do.
all of them are never edited.
Correct, especially any kind of jurisdictional meetings. No, there have been points of where it's they're doing clapping and congratulating and doing little talky talks before they get to the next agenda item. I'll cut that out, because that's it's not necessary. In between comments, for a public comment, there's an extra 5-10 seconds between speakers. Sometimes I'll cut that out. That's not necessary. But something of content importance, absolutely not.
Okay. Then let's go down to the consent agenda. We have the minutes of June 13th and the financial report June through June 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
Very good.
I'll second.
Okay.
Who got the second there?
Got it.
Frank, okay.
Yep.
Whatever works.
Slapjack or something.
Maybe you could have it if you
No,
want.
Nope, we just needed a second, as long as we get it, that's all I care about. Great.
Back to any public comment on the minutes of the financial reports? Seeing none. Any questions from the board on any of that information?
No.
No.
Okay. Then look for a motion to accept.
That was
We just did,
That was
yeah.
Audrey's motion.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Frank second, call for the vote.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. No?
Unanimous?
Unanimous. On that point. Okay. Report from the president. From my aspect, we were just kind of talking about things as far as it looks like it's kind of slowing down in downtown for whatever reason that is.
Here's
But
the days.
we are seeing that in other cities as well, in the information that we've been gathering from that standpoint. No, you look like you want to say something.
No.
Oh. So I'm going to have Greg just, this is new. I want Greg to basically go back and identify everybody that we have on the ground floors. And let's put them in, make sure we put them in a category. Are they an office, or are they retail? What are they retailing? And let's get down to the final numbers. Hey,
Greg.
Greg. Get down to the final numbers of the different businesses that we have. And I basically, from my standpoint, I want to just kind of keep that down to the ground floors. I don't think we need to go up into the offices or anything like that, but let's see what we've got. Kind of goes along with what you were just talking offline, Frank, from that standpoint.
I mean, the office use definitely contributes to the retail. We got an awful lot of attorneys and business people that are frequenting all the downstairs restaurants and retail outlets. I mean, what I see is is the lack of, or the amount of vacancies in the downtown. I mean, it hasn't gotten better, and I think that's contributing to the low pedestrian counts. And I'd certainly, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is. I'd sure like to see more people on our sidewalks.
Your office space, you are virtually always 100%. Maybe you down 3 or 4%, but other than that.
Knock on wood, we're 100%, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy about that. I can't say that for a lot of other landlords in our downtown. These are the people we need to get after. You know, why the hell do they have buildings that have been sitting for 20 years vacant? It's just ridiculous. Even if you said, I'm gonna rent it to you for free, you just pay the utilities or whatever, and rent it out for free, that would be better than a vacant space.
Here's my experience, Frank. Now this is, I mean, a lot of buildings are second generation. So, well, my dad always got 90 cents a square foot. It's worth 90 cents a square foot. Well, it isn't if nobody will pay it. Now, would you consider taking it down to 75 and maybe getting a tenant? No, it's worth 90. My dad always, I mean, when I was redevelopment director, I heard that till I was blue in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, wait a minute, what have you done? I mean, I remember barber shops or beauty shops. Hot water heater went out. Well, that's the tenant's problem, not mine. Well, what you're losing your tenants because they don't, you know, they can't afford. But and you know, just absurdness about how many of these property owners just are still in the mindset of the 50s or 60s.
I noticed that a lot of people are really wanting gross modified leases. That's particularly what I see in my business, so that they don't have to pay these expenses or some of these things. I mean, and I'm not having trouble renting anything downtown. Everything we have downtown's rented. I do have like a larger space. The smaller spaces tend to rent really fast and easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's your larger spaces that are a little bit
Yeah.
harder to rent, right? So I have like a 5,000 square foot storefront that I'm struggling a little bit on Main Street, so we just will reduce the price. But when I get the smaller stuff, they're like gone, you know, and everything, even off the beaten path of Main Street, you know, will be gone. So, in particular, what properties are you concerned that's not rented right now?
Yeah, when you walk down Main Street.
I walk every day, but I mean, I like La Fogata's, like, or the old La Fogata, there's nothing there.
Fagata, Butch Ariano's space across the street. It's been vacant for 20 years.
And has anybody talked to them?
There's a prime example of the person I was
And
just talking about.
the other one is the two-story building. There's a lady that has the hairstyle shop. Vacant, one side just, I guess they have a farmer's insurance or something on one side. The other side where the old vintner's place, that thing's been vacant for 15 years.
Because they're not advertising, and I think if they were advertising
No.
or wanting to rent it, then it would be rented, you know, and that's what, like, I don't see any
Oh,
advertisement.
We haven't reached out to the owners, maybe we should call them and
We've
check in with them.
We've tried. I've called the owner of that particular complex. He's a farm labor contractor, and he just doesn't give a hoot.
Well, so neither does Butch Ariano.
Butch doesn't give a hoot.
No, and he hasn't for 20 years.
You know, and I hate to go after property owners, but that's what we do. You know,
Yeah.
we are the leaders of the property owners in the downtown. If we can't convince them that they need to occupy space, it's contributing to the negative climate in our downtown, having vacant spaces. We have to be able to make that case to them and somehow
And bring in good people who want to
Yeah.
not just always have business downtown. We need to bring in like different type of retailers and different things so that people want to feel like it's attracting them to come in this area, right? So I'm like, okay, we already have a shoe store, we already have this, maybe we need to start attracting this, and you know, sort of putting that out there. But you know, maybe what we can do is get a list together. I don't
we
know
have
who
a
they
heck
are,
of a
but
lot of service businesses.
Yes.
The beauty salons, the nails and
Right.
massage, all that, we have a whole bunch of that. So.
yeah.
So we know who the property owners are, aren't they? Don't
Yeah.
we? We have a list?
Yeah.
Do we have a feel for how many of those might be from out of town? You don't have really vested in,
I don't.
Some of them, I mean,
just a few,
Craig, can
or?
you give me like an address? If you could email all of us
Yeah.
the address, I feel like
Yeah.
we could go ahead and help with this a little bit. Like
How
when I
about-
see vacancies, I jump on
Not
it.
just an address with the ownership.
If you
And
could,
maybe a
Phone
mailing
number.
address. Maybe we need to do some kind of a
Well, if you have
campaign.
somebody who's interested in something, I mean, you could just reach out to somebody, even,
Yeah.
you know, if, just because of the property owner.
Yeah.
exactly, but if you get the addresses and if you have the contact information, great. If you don't, I can get it.
we'll do.
You know, we just gotta, a lot of the stuff's public record. You know what I mean? You just pull it up and then we
Yeah.
can contact them and then we can try to maybe make an effort to help and
Yeah.
then see what we can present a little bit. I mean, there's 3 of us in particular that do this, you know.
Find
Our
it.
Well, I think on
businesses do,
some
yeah.
it might be just
Yeah.
getting hold of the owner as far as like, what's actually going on here? Because I know a few of those, millions of people have contacted, hey, would you sell it, you wanna lease it? And there's never a response, you just
Right.
you just
Yeah.
can't get feedback from it.
Don't do anything.
So it could be something where you reach out as far as, hey, can we help you, what's going on, we'd love to see this occupied. And sometimes when the broker calls, it's kind of like, oh, not
It's different.
interested, not, you know,
But if
can
SCCIA calls
Exactly, it could
and
be a
says,
different approach.
hey, we're trying to really revamp our
Oh, yeah.
downtown, can we help you with this? Because if I call, they're pushed off, like, I'm trying to pick up their business when, I mean, I'm gonna have to call
So
them.
the guy
and
to
phone
your
them.
right will
He
make-
needs to call, right? But we can help
Well,
you,
particularly if
You
you've
know.
got some,
Yeah.
a market, you know, somebody who's in the market.
yeah.
Even if they don't have it listed or it's not, you know,
Yeah, we're
just
not,
hey,
we're trying to get the listing or we're
Yeah,
just trying to fill it,
no,
like,
right,
you know,
yeah.
but,
Mhm.
so whatever you don't have, that grab that list, put it together, because then we can sort of see and we can say, oh, I know this person.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so-and-so knows it, and that's where the sphere of influence will come in, and maybe we can help do that,
encourage them along.
yeah.
We'll do.
Yep.
It's on my list.
This is Center President's report.
With that,
Yeah,
that-
it's a big
we're
size
already-
report.
I came in late.
what's the space that's right across from the new Starbucks on Monterey Street? It's got Cal.
Oh, the old fitness place.
It was, it-
Full-
well, it
full
was,
fitness.
Fitness.
it
No,
was
that's on the
a
other side.
grocery store at one time.
That's on the other side of John Street where you're talking
Oh, I
about.
see what
You're
you're
talking
saying.
about,
Yeah.
That thing has been vacant for 20 years, and the same person has it listed, has always had it listed. I forget who her name is.
It's the,
That's an Appling property, they have it, and
Yeah.
they manage it themselves.
I have somebody interested in the property, I just
Yeah.
need her to call them back.
Need who to call who?
Just Carrie to call them back, but they may not be a right fit for the business too. You know, she may not want that.
That's a great
yeah,
corner.
that was a market.
Yeah, it was a market, I remember that.
I remember when the cops videoed and the rats were running all over. Remember that? There were rats on top of every meat counter and it was.
Is that the drive-in
I'm
market?
sorry.
The old drive-in?
The old drive-in market,
That's
yeah.
what we're talking
I think they moved to Star Market, I think, because some of those owners moved out to there.
about. Because that's not, I don't think that's in our district.
it's not.
Just
It's not our
other
district?
other side of the street.
So it's on the street, yeah.
Okay.
Now the 12 unit rental place, houses,
On the corner,
apartments,
on the corner,
that is.
That's the boundary.
But that's anything, and we have, you know, one,
That's Slamit, isn't it?
yeah.
Was.
Or did he sell it?
Sold it, yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. But that's where the edge is, it kind of just does one of those numbers.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, that's, yeah.
Just curious, Frank, the Monterey Coast Group, the new tenant, are they doing well at all?
No. And I've heard that from some
Yeah.
people inside.
I went once and I wouldn't go back. They hadn't even figured out how to run the.
And that, they put a lot of money into that space, so, you know, I'm worried about that.
The brewery, Monterey Coast, what was
That's
Monterey
a,
Coast? Next to my.
that's a really important space.
It
Maya
is.
Theater?
Is that Marlene?
I heard about that.
No, that's the brew crew.
Oh,
That's the one in the Maya property, but we're talking about Monterey Brewing Company, the big.
Gotcha.
Right next door to First Awakening.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. I haven't went in there since they changed it.
I'm sorry. I was talking about the one on the Alvarado Street Brewing.
Oh,
I'm sorry, yeah. Alvarado Street Brewing is not doing very well.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
Good,
disturbing
good.
to me. And I don't know why.
have good beer.
But I'm getting that from internal people.
What about, I can't think of
The other one, the one right next to, that I have, the La Cantina Brewing,
La Cantina.
that thing's probably gonna go down the tubes.
Yeah.
I'm not having a good feel from that.
I
And
never
they
see
spent
it
a lot of
open.
money.
I never see it open.
No, they're selling a lot of beer. Their beer is really good.
They're
And
very
they're,
good. yeah.
they're canning the beer in there,
Oh,
and
really?
they're selling it to a lot of outside people. But there's absolutely no commerce going in. There's nobody
food.
going in there. They
No
don't have any
restaurant.
food. There's nothing really happening. So that's, yeah, that one's in trouble. I don't think they're gonna make it.
Okay. You've got your marching orders?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How soon are you gonna wrap that up? 12 o'clock?
Maybe. If you guys keep talking. Got it, we'll take care of it.
Okay, that's good. All right. Yes, we're going to you.
All right,
How's Costa Rica?
it was good.
Oh. Let's get him started.
You look
I'm trying to
very
remember where
relaxed.
I'm at now.
You just brought him down.
Yeah. Only thing from treasury report is just if you look at the financials, there's a little different format. We had them mix it up a bit. And the problem with the way it was formatted before, it was kind of a mix of a balance sheet and a cash flow, you know? And so what we did is we pulled out the carryover to the bottom of the report. So if you go to the next page, more the fiscal, more like the net income report.
Yeah.
That way we got actual current fiscal year income and expenses, and at the bottom is the cash flow, where we began and where we're at. So it was kind of a little awkward, especially when it came time for a year-end annual reporting. There was always a bunch of questions with the finance director, kind of balancing those two, so hopefully this kind of cleans it up.
Any
That's it for
questions?
me.
Great.
Just curious if is the city timely passing on?
We haven't received second assessment yet, I don't think. You
And I have not followed up with that, I've just
Okay.
been running around.
follow
to
up
other stuff.
with Michael on that. And then also follow up with him, making sure that the new assessment rule gets over the county. Cause that needs to go ASAP.
That actually went to vote the council right after our report,
Heard it was
so,
unanimous approval.
yeah.
That's good. So, but yeah, talk to him, to make sure that gets over to the county, so we don't miss out.
So there is a new city finance director?
No,
No.
Michael Gomez kind of runs,
he works for Lisa Brinton,
correct, and he's kind of the one, is he in the finance department or with Lisa Brenton?
who's Lisa?
He used to be in the finance department.
Well, I don't know, but he's
Anyway,
he's
no,
doing
Michael-
he's doing a lot of,
He does a lot of legwork for us.
city center
He's a
stuff for
real
us.
estate guy, Michael Gomez.
He does have a license, yeah.
But he's also now the acting finance,
No, he's not doing any finance stuff.
Okay.
He's the one we correspond with when it comes to finances with SCCIA. So he's kind of, for whatever reason,
So,
He's our point person.
Yeah,
basically.
so is Jim Pia as the so-called acting finance director, you just don't bother?
you know what, Greg, or Michael's been the one who
Okay.
reaches out to us, and his last couple of years has been the one involved with making sure that it gets to the county. 2 years ago, when it went to the finance department, it got dropped, remember?
I
And
do.
they didn't send it to the county, so we missed an increase. And so, ever since then, Michael's been the one, hey, send it to me, I'll push it through. So,
I had no idea.
It's on my list.
yep. That's a priority.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
You're gonna do your report?
Yeah,
Okay.
just some quick highlights. As you guys all know, City Council accepted our annual report. It was unanimous, 7-0, so that was good. They did have some questions on how we're helping out our merchants, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, that's all done, so it's accepted. Not sure if you guys noticed, next subject, not sure if you guys noticed, but we now have control of the lights on the Salinas Arch, mostly in control. I lit them up.
Alert.
In the daytime or nighttime?
Well, they're on but I've pretty much taken control of all the top lights. The bottom lights are not playing nice, but it was red, white, and blue-ish during the 4th of July. So I need to turn them off and go back to white, and then going to purple for paint the town purple next month. Yeah,
Relay for
for
Life.
Relay for Life, thank you. So I'm still playing with that, but we have control of it.
We just gotta learn how to control it.
It's temperamental.
Is that like a phone app you use to control it, or what's
Yeah,
the, okay.
yeah, so the way, not to get too deep, but the lights are all Wi-Fi. There's like 1 or 2 companies out there that make that particular light bulb style that does what we needed to do with the colors.
Okay.
And then, but then you cannot, it has to be online. Like not just Wi-Fi where you have a signal, it has to be talking to the internet, because the app talks to the internet and then talks back to the lights.
Okay.
I can't control them locally, so we're dealing with a hotspot, we're dealing with some Wi-Fi issues, I'm dealing with some power issues. A lot of fun, but I'm getting a hold of it. I've got.
Now we know why they were hesitant.
I'm glad it's you and not.
You know, well, and I was kind of like going after David Jacobs, like, why the heck is this not working? I honestly believe that there's physically, I need to get an electrician out there, but I think there's a voltage spike, because every time I try and turn on the bottom lights, everything breaks. So there is an issue, I just haven't narrowed down what it is.
And of course, David really cares.
Well, I mean, you know, he wants to get it working, I guess, but it's also, he's a director of public works, it's not his job.
It's now in our hands.
Yeah, so I'm working on getting positive control of every single light bulb, and it's fun.
So when we adjusted them, everything was working fine, you know, so they're designed to work, and they did work. So as you say, there may be a ground fault or something else.
That's kind of what I'm
But you
thinking.
need an electrician to come out and do a test, you know, to run a test on the line, see what's going on.
I just want to be able to reproduce the program, a problem, every time. Like, if I do this, this is what happens. And I haven't quite gotten to that point yet, so.
I don't know, they
You should just
would
get an
need,
electrician.
they wouldn't need to
Yeah.
know that, they'd be able to diagnose that themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll call an electrician and get Ryan or something to put a multimeter on it and see what.
So it's Ryan?
Ryan McMurray, he's done some other electrician stuff for us.
And so how do we approach this too, because we take on responsibility, but does that mean we're paying for the electrician?
Yeah.
And, okay, so they're not gonna.
The
bring
city's
their
not gonna,
Electrician out, so they're like, here's the stuff and now it's all your responsibility?
I think pretty much, I mean unofficially, if we were to request the city to go fix this, I don't think we'll have colored lights for the rest of the year. I mean, I
They're just not gonna address it, no.
yeah, I just don't think, they'll
Well,
say.
who was the company that actually set the system up?
Nobody. So
No,
David,
the Royal was the original electrician. on
right,
the
but they put
project.
in white lights. And
Well, yeah, but this, what was specified by my electrical engineer has, you know, the color capacity.
okay.
So should we call Royal Electric or just have
Yeah,
them?
I would go back to the people that
The way,
installed it.
the way I understood it is that David Jacobs went in and they replaced all the lights with Wi-Fi capable RGB light bulbs.
Okay.
So I'll
But
double
there's still
check.
somewhere in the controls that, you know, provide that capability.
Negative. It is literally an app on the phone. There is no other controls other than an on and off switch on the arch. So there's no dial on the pillars where I can say red, green, whatever. So it's and the problem is there's 80 light bulbs. So and every light bulb is
That's
individually
the
addressable.
feature, not the problem.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing at night?
So
Yeah,
there's
that's good.
It's gotta work though.
and, well,
It did work, yeah.
and the fun thing is, Wi-Fi light bulbs, the way you reset them is you flip the lights on and off 4 or 5 times and you reset it. Well, the problem is the light switch turns on like 60 on the bottom all at once and like 50 on the top all at once. So you reset 50 lights at once. And then you gotta find out which ones are which again. So it's just a lot of fun. Yeah,
There's gotta be a way to make that user friendly.
I think so.
I'm trying.
So we're gonna go back to the original electrician.
I'll give him a buzz and see what the state.
Royal Electric.
Yeah, I'll give him a buzz and say, can you guys
We could
troubleshoot this?
talk with them, they've been out here a couple times
Yeah.
already, so.
So that's going. I'm gonna turn him back to white in the next couple days, and then in August, beginning of middle of August, I'll turn him purple. Then here's my little show and tell. We have an offer from Blue Zones to provide a bunch of these bad boys. These are cigarette disposal units. They're free to us, but there's always a but.
A cigarette butt, yeah.
They're
Yeah,
4 bucks.
literally butts. We have to take on responsibility of emptying them, and there's a baggie that will come with it, and they have to be sent in. I imagine it's a self-addressed envelope. There's a baggie, and we have to recycle them, and we send them to a company that recycles them somewhere. So.
Butts galore.
I'm sorry?
Butts galore.
Buttsgalore.com. So we have to.
Hey, Raymond.
Who smokes still?
Get so
Is that still a thing?
convoluted.
Yeah, like it's weird that it's still a thing. But anyway, we have the ability to get a whole bunch of these. We can put a co-branded sticker on here saying these are provided by Blue Zones and Salinas City Center. It's just whether we decide if we want to put those on our trash receptacles and smoke-prone areas.
Are we seeing cigarette butts out a lot?
Yeah, a fair amount.
I don't see them.
Yeah.
The only people that smoke are the transients that are sitting
No,
on the
that's
benches.
because Greg is so good at cleaning them up. He's on it. Like there's a lot of smoking in Dubbers.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, he's
the
on it.
bars, outside the bars,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, but anyway, so that's a thing for you
No,
to
that's a good point.
discuss later. We have also
Yeah,
been.
what, discuss later?
I think we should just.
Yeah, we should
now.
discuss it, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
What do we think? You think, is it a hassle, how do you feel?
I personally think that if we have the crew go by once a week,
It's fine.
That's a
People
lot
know
of
that
butts.
that's a lot to put your cigarettes there?
Well, hopefully they'll learn.
Or, yeah.
We can do a PSA about it if we want.
Yeah.
It's just whether we think this is a good idea as an organization to take on.
It doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah,
It costs us the time and
the
labor.
time and
Yeah,
the
well-
upkeep and the,
It's not like we're
Will they
purchasing
be
them, but
used?
if they're not using it, then we'll know if they're not
Yeah.
using it, but at least like we give the option to put your cigarettes out there,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not used and wherever people are gonna dispose it, they're just gonna keep it the same.
Yeah, they'll either throw them in the trash can on the ground.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
throw it down now.
yeah, I'm worried about the education point of it might
Yeah.
be hard.
I mean, maybe put a few of as a trial instead of going,
All out.
100 of them downtown.
Yeah.
Put one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, put one.
I'll
How do they
authorize
adhere to
it.
the ground? How do they attach to the ground?
Well, I don't.
Wall?
Yeah,
gotta put
I
'em on a
don't, I'm
wire.
reluctant to put them on a wall.
Yeah.
I think
Or
if
one
we
of the
put-
light
Access at the
posts.
bottom though, so you can't put them on the ground.
Correct, so they'd have to, I was thinking that we bolt them to the trash corrals, to the,
Yeah.
one of the sides, or both sides if we get 2 per corral. We have about 15 corrals, and
That
maybe,
makes sense.
so, we get 20 of these bad boys and strap them all over town, and either with a radiator clamp, or we drill a hole through some metal bit and keep it in place. I'm reluctant to bolt them to buildings because of stucco.
The other option is you more turn it over to the property owner, so I think most of the smoking occurs around the bars.
Sure.
And so if you have, let's say, one of ours, we'll put it by the entrance to the building
Mm.
with kind of the tenant responsible, hey, maintain this, versus SCCIA.
True.
Could be an option.
Yeah, it just that we have to disperse the recycling bags and things
Yeah.
like that. So I don't know, whatever is,
Maybe we should approach, it's a good idea, just go to Dubbers and see, would you be interested in this? You think it's a good idea? Would you wanna participate and see kind
Yeah,
of
I can do that.
how that goes?
I said, check all the bars, that are down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ask.
Yeah, I would go along with checking bars. I have a hard time with this one because I walk up and downtown, I don't really see cigarette butts on the ground because our people are doing a great job.
Yeah. That's a good point.
We should ask them to put up no smoking signs instead of this.
Well,
Right.
I think Blue Zones was hoping a long time ago, I think that's what they were originally looking for.
Well, I mean, downtown really is a de facto non-smoking zone because it's supposed to be 20 feet within the entrance, right? So it's, in theory, the only place you can smoke is in the middle of the street, but, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll go by some hotspots, if you want to call it that, and see if this would be a point of interest for them. And then,
So you'll report back to us at the bar, from the bars, if this is a point of interest.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Don't stay too long while you go through.
Well, I have to do some research and,
'Cause I'm struggling with understanding why we would, Kevin and they're doing a fabulous job.
They are.
And for what it's worth, on my vacation last week, I mean, I went to a lot of little downtowns on my trip, and we like road trips. And our downtown actually looks really nice compared to some of the places that I visited. So it's, I mean, it's nice to see. Let's see, we've been requested to do a owner merchant survey. We've talked about that.
Who requested that?
Some council members, and we thought it's actually a decent idea in terms of just how do you feel, what do you want, you know, what do you, but we just have to, like the input you provided, not leading questions and things like that, and then keep it simple, not just, hey, how do you feel about Salinas, but more of like, how do you think we're doing?
And be clear about the services that we provide versus the services that don't have anything to do with
So
us.
I'd be very resistant to ask for a grade. You're not gonna be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who are motivated to answer that question are the people who are not happy.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think any questions ought to be aspirational and based on the future. It's
Sure.
like, what would you like to see more of, you know?
Okay.
That's
So
a
that we
good
can
point.
improve.
You know, how did, you know, have you participated? Have you
Positive.
checked
Yeah.
our website? Is there
Yeah.
something you'd like to see? But there's no point in asking somebody how we're doing, because we know how it's gonna turn out. But I think this council acceptance of the report, there's more to the story, because there was some commentary that clearly projected some critical approach to what we do, and a lack of understanding about what we do and what our responsibilities are. And there also was clear that they are talking to some of the merchants, so they have certain sources out there that they're using to base their criticism on.
And I think some of the questions we should ask too, in these conversations, is how many merchants are they speaking to? 'Cause
Well, I think what we should do proactively, in my view, is we ought to be talking to all the merchants.
Mhm.
We ought to be talking to them, making the rounds a couple times a month maybe, and sort of say, what can we do, you know, anything missing?
Yeah.
What are you experiencing? And sort of build that outreach, because, you know, what's good for the merchants are good for the property owners,
I
obviously.
agree, yeah.
But I think we're missing.
Some of the questions that were coming from the council members, Sonny Orlando, number one, the morning of that council meeting, he was in the La Cantina Brewery. He and who's the other kid, the Barrera that's gonna run for mayor?
Yeah.
Those two were in there listening to the gripes of the people in the La Cantina. And it has nothing whatsoever to do with us.
There's a
Whether they
misconception
have-
of what we do.
Exactly.
We're not a marketing
No,
company.
you
We
made a
don't-
good point, Amy. You
bring
did
that
a really
downtown.
good job at the meeting, I thought.
Like,
Yeah.
it is because we're not here to promote business, we're here to keep things clean, so it's inviting for families and people to come
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
And so the questions I think we need to be asking is, how can we do a better job at this? Or, hey, what information are you looking for? Which, like, Chamber of Commerce provides like a list, right, of this is what's happening at these places. And I think every quarter, if we sent out an email and then posted it that says, hey, this is what's happening downtown, just informational, just so that all the merchants and everybody know, and give information of what's happening downtown.
Well, based on our feedback that we got from the council meeting, we've already implemented getting back on top of the newsletters and making sure that they're going out to all of the merchants and the city council, which shows all the activities that are happening downtown. We have our calendar on there, and we've been asking each time for vendors or merchants to tell us what they're doing. What discounts are happening? Are you offering discounts for the holiday? Are you having a special promotion? Are you having a special event for them to tell us? And then we can include it and disseminate that information. And then we've also talked about Greg coming here on Wednesdays, once a month, where merchants can come and talk to him. And this would be a landing place for him. He could have conversations about what they're experiencing, what they would like to see, and then also continue the effort to work with them to create their own merchant group so they can support each other, and then they can bring information back to us from their groups about what they're experiencing and how we can better
Yeah, I
help
think
them.
that outreach is important. I think it just shows respect, yeah, for their concerns. And if we show that, I think this is not to have anything to do with creating an image with the council. It's just, I think that's part of
It's a
our,
right thing to
our,
do, yeah.
how we can benefit the district and our members, is to understand what's going on with the merchants.
Yeah.
Well, and that is some of the direct feedback I received during the council meeting, and what Audrey was just saying was, we are not a merchant organization, but we can definitely help them, or not help them. We can be here for them and maybe have a subcommittee or I'm a collecting point for issues, and I can bring them to our board. And once they're big enough and grown up enough, they can create their own organization, and maybe we can collaborate with them.
Or there could be a subcommittee, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've received several questions, from a merchant that I've been answering diligently this week, about how do you, who's invited, who can be included, how do we do stuff, what can you do for us, and so a lot of this is education. Which brings me to the next update. We had a meeting with the city manager, and I've sent out invitations to the city manager, the Lisa Brinton for community development, and our new council member to have either monthly and or quarterly updates on what we are doing for our district, how we can work together, how we can cooperate and collaborate, et cetera, et cetera. And so we can stay on top of some of these issues and things. So all those invites are out. I have not yet heard back, but
We just sent them out.
I just sent them out. Yeah, exactly. So I literally, it just happened because we met with Renee yesterday. Yesterday? No, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sorry, the days are stringing together. And one of the things that also came up during this meeting, next point, is parking has always been an issue. So just FYI for you guys, so you know, I have requested or reached out to Public Works, to reach out to Laz to see how much it would cost potentially to hire a dedicated parking enforcement person, and whether that is something that we even want to play with before a parking management district can be created, just so hopefully people learn not to stay all day in one parking spot.
They were out this morning on my way here.
I saw her, yeah, exactly.
The enforcement will help
Yeah.
too, 'cause
Yeah.
I mean, I know I certainly would
Right.
park where, I mean, if I could get parked
If you
there
get
and
away
say,
with it,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just human nature.
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
can't, you're not going to.
So, if we have someone here 5 days a week, 8 hours a day or whatnot, people will learn. Because I've talked to people specifically, like, yeah, if I get one ticket every couple of months, like, I'll deal with it.
Has
Well, it's
anybody
cheaper than
talked to
getting a
Renee?
parking permit.
Has anybody talked to the new city manager about this idea of forming a parking district?
He's aware of it.
Yeah,
What's
he's
his?
just aware of, I thought we would come back at a later date if we're really serious about moving forward with this.
I've got,
We or the city?
Well, us,
Us to have the discussion.
I mean, I think we need to push the city to develop a parking district for our particular
That would be
district.
that would be the
That would
discussion.
be, yeah,
That would be the discussion.
question on the current parking management. How many how many people are hired by the city to manage parking, and none of them are dedicated to downtown?
There's 8 beats, or eight beats that are combined into 4 groups. So each and then they have 5 staff members, I believe, that rotate through these districts to do parking enforcement, and 2 or 3, depending on the schedule, I think, 2 or 3 on the weekends to do the same thing. So there is not a dedicated person in every district every time. It's kind of a round robin. And that's why I asked, what will it take for us to get a dedicated 100% person?
What is the contract amount the city is paying this outfit to manage parking?
I am not 100% sure, but I
Right.
think it's about between 600 and 700K.
We can request it.
Yeah,
Because it's a joke.
because Laz, the parking garage contract is about 380, but the enforcement contract, I think, is about 6 or 7, give or take. So, and I don't know what a body would cut, oh, terrible way to say it.
You've already put the request in to the
Yes, sir.
city? Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a Corvette that parks across the, he's a postal worker?
So, yeah,
He works in the post office?
most of the postal personnel park just on the street, because there's no real parking at the post office. So, with no enforcement, they park, every day, 5 days a week.
And of course, the enforcement people, they're, I mean, it's just a joke.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, so by having a dedicated person, at least people will be afraid. It's a terrible way to say it, but at least they'll have to, like, they know they can't park there all day long.
You go down to the Monterey wharf and I guarantee you, there's one woman, she's working that
Just-
wharf day in, day
All the
out.
time.
And she's right,
She is on
you
it.
hardly ever see her not right.
Yeah, no, she is on it.
So one of the things about, once I get a dollar amount back, I'm also gonna request, what is the city's take on this? And obviously, like every
The
other.
city's take on what?
The take, financial take.
Dollars and cents.
Financial take on a ticket. Like, if it's a $50 ticket,
How much
how
they
much
get
does
out
the
of it?
city get?
Yeah.
And once we know that, then we can say, well, this person is gonna pay for itself. So, or not.
They're $45, I think.
I think they've raised them. Yeah.
It'd be interesting
It was like
to
45 bucks.
get some numbers from Monterey, because
Yeah.
you.
Oh, crap, Monterey's
But
got
Monterey's
it.
a different cookie, like it's.
Yeah.
that's-
I understand
yeah.
It is, but we could be at a smaller level
Yeah.
and I think just as effective.
Oh, I feel like we need it down here, because it'd be nice, like, you can't find parking, and our customers, like,
Right.
all of our clients and all of the customers need it, and I feel like the businesses that are here would really appreciate it, so that would be a great thing to let all of the merchants and business owners downtown know, like, hey, we are really working to enforce the parking issue, because their customers wanna be able to pull in, grab something, and then leave, you know?
Well, and if they do it too, the more people will buy parking permits for the garages.
Yeah.
The garages will fill up, so the city will do
It's
better.
good for
on their
everybody.
balance sheet.
It's good for everybody.
Yeah.
We've talked about this guy Don Stroop, who wrote a book called The High Cost of Free Parking.
Yeah,
And he says your goal should be that you should set the rate such that you have about 15% of the spaces are vacant at any one time.
Yeah.
And because that will keep people coming.
Sure.
They'll avoid them driving around the blocks and polluting
Yeah.
the air. And there'll be an experience that is convenient to park and you can find parking, 15%.
Yeah.
So you enforce until you get 15%.
And you set the rates for that, so,
That's right.
so if at, I don't know, I'm making up a number, if it's $3 an hour, you get 50% vacancy, well, it's time to drop it. If you have 100% vacancy, it's time to raise it. So, it's a value, right? I mean, who gets to park a 5-ton vehicle on the street for free? Like, that doesn't happen anywhere else other than us, apparently.
Yeah.
So, but, and I personally think the city's leaving a lot of money on the table, to do other things with.
Well, that's economic development is being left on the table.
Mhm.
It's not just the proceeds from the parking,
Right.
it's to create a vital downtown.
Yes.
And that dollar can be reinvested into downtown because it's taken here.
Well, you can build parking structures with it ultimately.
Yeah. Anyway, other than that, that's kind of it. I'm demoing a camera system to cover some of the areas that the police cameras aren't catching. But other than that, I just got them in the mail yesterday, so nothing has come of that yet. But I'll let you guys know in the next meeting. And that's all I have for my update.
So a request from me, and hopefully others will feel the same. let's get an accurate count on parking lot 5, since it's the largest parking lot we have outside of the garage down here. On a daily basis, a couple of times a day,
Sure.
as to how full that parking lot is, because I think the 2 back rows still are permit parking
Yes.
for a period
I believe
until
It is.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Looking at it yesterday.
Yeah,
they are.
from that standpoint. And then the other thing, I think it would be a merchant question, specifically those on Main Street in the 300 and the 200 block. We just had we had the farmers markets is every Saturday, and we just had the last event up in the 200 block.
Tell you, yeah.
I'd really like to understand how the merchants' business was on that specific day.
Sure.
I hope they had foot traffic and they were happy and everything from that standpoint. But I just want to be able to check that box that, okay.
Don't ask
everything's
Trish.
good. Trish is in our hands. Trish is in our hands, so that's all I'll say at this point, so. But I think it's very important to understand when we have 2 events downtown, how well did the retail businesses do
Okay.
with both events being held at the same time. I don't know. Just want to check that box, that everybody was happy.
I will check it.
Okay. All right, let's see.
Public comment.
Huh?
Public
Public comment?
Comment.
Yeah. Public.
Sure.
Pass.
You already need that deal from here. Board, any other questions, discussion? Move down to the ad hoc committees, hearing nothing. DISI.
Hi.
Hi.
We started meeting with some of our merchants downtown to do spotlights with them. So we've got Carrie from the Coop, who will likely be our first one, and our efforts will be to kind of showcase what they do that makes them unique downtown, or just a tour of the shop, so that we can post that on social media and things like that. Greg will also email everyone who may possibly be interested in participating in the future. And then we'll approach people as we kind of go along. So that was something fun, and we've been trying to implement that for a while, to be honest. So we got remotivated to get that going. So that was exciting. We are also working on a marketing for downtown to update our still photography. Some of our photos and things are a little bit dated, and there's a lot of new buildings and restaurants that have been cleaned up downtown. So we are updating our still marketing as well as videos. We're trying to finally implement that live, work, and play aspect of downtown, showing how amazing it is that you get to live here. People are working down here, and there's plenty to do to play. So we have people who are living locally and working locally who have already volunteered to be in our videos.
Oh, wow.
So that's been exciting. And we're gonna move forward with working on that. We also got past the historical review board for the mural at Fox Theater, so that's so exciting. Now we just need to push through the city because, as I mentioned before, we have those artists that came in from Europe that are gonna help Lisa, who's our local artist. And they're here and they're ready. So we are really trying with the city to have that move forward quickly. But that will be another mural going up hopefully this summer. And then we've got things moving forward with Patria, which is great. They needed some storage facilities, so we worked really hard to get them that. It sounds like PAL is willing to work with us, and they'll store their equipment there while they start working in the Patria alley. So that should be moving forward.
That actually goes on the La Fagata wall.
It isn't the opposite wall, on the
Oh, it
Patria.
goes on the Patria wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd like to address the La Fagata wall at some point. We just need to keep trying to communicate with them.
If it gets a tenant.
Yeah, or before, we just need the owner's approval, right there in the alley, so it's the owner. So we'll continue approaching that.
Would you send out what those murals look like again, please?
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I had it, but I've lost it somewhere.
When does Patriot start?
It should be starting by the end of this month,
Yeah.
right? Is that where we are, Greg?
The biggest issue is we're kind of bouncing around for storage locations.
Okay.
So we need to, like Audrey said, PAL is willing, we need to pull the trigger to get them the keys or whatever it takes, so they can literally walk across the lot. They need to clean it, prime it, and then paint it. We've taken down the lights, we've taken down the decorations. It's a blank canvas.
Okay.
So.
Good.
So we're excited for that to move forward, and I'm looking to pursue again with the schools, Salinas High, hopefully, to work on a project for the alleys and decoration, and find a good connection there to, talk with the art department.
So I talked to them when I went there, I do their mock interview stuff, and also the stuff for Rotary where we give their scholarships. And so Alan Schooley's not doing that anymore, but they have a new person who was working on that, and I spoke with her about that. And she was gonna be talking with the art department. So
Okay.
that was at the end of the year when we were in doing their interviews. So I'll follow up with her, just because she said that yes, they would absolutely be interested.
Okay, great, yeah, I'd love to have a meeting with them and kind of
Yeah.
talk different ideas, on the
I'll
creative
put you in
side.
touch, and then you can go ahead and deal with that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll just follow up and give her your contact.
Okay, perfect. And then we are sponsoring food and wine, so that was, we're excited for that to come again. It's a loved event downtown.
Is that October?
August?
August?
Yeah.
August.
27, 24, 17, somewhere around there.
But-
It's on my calendar somewhere.
Okay, and then Greg is gonna update the calendar, right? We're gonna work on updating,
Yeah.
the look of it, just so it looks easier, it's easier to navigate. And that's it for DISI.
We have that other, there's another mural going up?
We need to get an agreement with the owner for, the Patels,
The
for the mural
Travelers Hotel?
right here. I mean, yeah, it'd be,
No, yeah, over there.
yeah, right over here, I'm like orientating myself, it'd be right
Yeah.
over here. So we need to get something in writing before we move forward. I don't wanna spend any money with the artist or anything like that until we get a written agreement with the owner that they've given us verbal, but we need to get it in writing, just so I can feel comfortable spending grant funds, knowing that we have an agreement.
And what wall were you talking about?
So what's it called, the hot dog place?
Well, it was Cali Glizzy, but it's gonna turn into a coffee shop. And it's gonna be like right there.
On the
So
sidewall in the alley.
And the
Oh,
alley.
On the alley.
where you drive in,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'd have something there, would be another one. And then we're on the committee for United Way and the murals they're putting in their alley. So it's exciting to see that process as well.
Yeah.
in the future, too.
Super. All right. You doing SOBO?
Well, I need to sit with Greg, and I haven't had an
Let's pick
opportunity.
a date to do that.
Yeah, because I have, like, I don't know what I need to do, and I
He didn't
reached out
take you
to.
to, he didn't take you to Costa Rica?
Yeah.
No, and he was gone, so I was like, okay, when
Yeah.
he comes back, we'll meet, and then, I've reached out to Joel a couple times, but he hasn't called me back, so,
Okay.
yeah, well, you tell me what works for you, and we'll get on it.
I would say not next week, but the following week after that.
Okay,
Week
so,
of the 22nd.
okay,
And for what it's worth, the
Just
trees
do it
have been,
Yeah.
trees have been paid out of grant funds now.
Yeah, I saw that.
okay, what day? Might as well
So you
say,
wanna go 23rd,
yep,
10 o'clock?
yep.
Does that work for you, Greg?
Always, I'm always at your disposal.
Who's, are you speaking for land use, or can you speak for land use, Peter?
I've got notes from the 23rd, does that sound like the last land use?
I believe so.
So,
623?
no, this is May 23, sorry, that's my last notes.
That was recorded last month then.
Yeah. Nothing big came up. We talked about the parking garages, again, that the city, that I have a list, I didn't bring those notes.
From the meeting with the city, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a small list. I need to follow up with the county and see what the status on their end is with that parking structure. A few other small items, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking. I don't really have an update.
Okay, that's fine, sorry.
I just didn't bring those notes, I'm sorry.
So I think one of the things, I don't think I might be taking this out of turn, but coming back to the 300 block as we analyze the traffic situation, we had that conversation with the city manager as far as it needs to be looked at, because it's backed all the way up almost to John Street sometime, at some points times. So that.
You're talking about the Alisal intersection
Yes,
with
yes,
Salinas.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it is bad.
It is really.
It's so crazy, like, to even go across or
You're,
to try to get down.
you're right there,
Oh, yeah,
both of you are right there.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
it's not good.
It's bad at noon and it's bad at 4:30 to 5:30.
Yes. So that was discussed with him, he was gonna go back and
Look into it.
I don't know how many years that will potentially take, but.
I don't know how they're gonna
I
deal with
don't
it,
know how-
because
That's it.
you've got the three-way situation where the crosswalks are diagonal, and you have three different signals that have to go to be able to turn left, to be able to go straight, to be able to have cross traffic.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, it goes all the way down to like Lincoln on your corner, like
Yes.
literally. I will sit there at Lincoln trying to turn left on Alisal.
Can't do it.
I can't even, like, you can't.
Yeah.
So I just go straight, turn left on San Luis, and then go the other
Go
way,
back
go back
around.
down, because
do the
I
exact
can
same.
literally not
That's
turn
what I
left.
do, I go around.
Yeah, because I can't do it, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then people stop right in the middle,
Yeah.
so then you can't even go straight across, like, it's just between really Lincoln and Monterey Street, like, that's
Yeah.
little
I'm
section
amazed
is,
how early it starts backing up.
7:30.
3:30 in the afternoon, it's already backing up.
Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts at 7:30 in the morning, and it's
Yeah.
about 3:30 it starts over until about 5:30.
Yeah.
But yeah, so makes it
Yep.
really difficult.
Can't win, both ways are congested.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
you can't go to like the way that it goes, the way that the lights are, or whatever's happening, like it makes it almost impossible, you can't even turn.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, forget it, I go behind the post office, turn right on Alisal, turn left on Church, like, you know, I'm like, do, and just go around the neighborhood, because that's the only way I can get through. I mean,
More people should
Well-
ride bikes.
The idea was to slow all the traffic down, it's worked.
It's worse. They nailed it.
oh,
And Andrew Easterling
Yeah.
no longer works for the city.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Is this-
We do have fewer accidents at Lincoln, I will say that though.
Well, there's a positive.
Yeah, there are always people getting T-boned trying to make that turn before they made the change.
Yeah,
So, anyway, one positive out of
I noticed that there's a handful of cars that keep parking in the bike lane there
Oh,
in
yeah,
front of your
all the
office
time.
now.
it.
Yeah.
All the time.
oh yeah, I don't think they were looking, it says no parking. Like,
No one's got a ticket yet, so why stop?
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll keep reporting.
We had a stolen vehicle that was parked out there for
That's
about
right.
a week. And they got a ticket, and that's how the people realized that where the car was, where it was stolen. So, because they got
Oh,
a mail,
really?
they got the ticket mailed to them at their house, and they looked
Oh,
at it,
gosh.
there was the address on it, they were able to go down and retrieve their stolen
No
vehicle.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that
Anyway.
part.
That really tells you how great parking
Because
management
I
is.
remember
There's my car.
that little black car, right?
Been looking everywhere for
A little
it.
accurate, that thing, yeah.
That's funny.
Absolutely crazy, my God.
Yep.
Wow. Okay,
Back to public comment.
back to public comment. That's it.
That's it.
Back to board questions, discussions, deliberations, or anything like that. I think
That's it.
we're done.
Good.
That's it, yeah.
There's no public here to talk. We're it.
Good.
Till the next meeting.
Yep.